Good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, just put it in the chat box that you can hear me. All right. All right. So you're welcome to the Python class, and you're welcome to the Python class. So this is week 1, and we are going to be using 5 weeks to look at data analysis using Python. So the first thing that I am going to do is to give us a rundown of everything that I'm going to teach you in this free class. And like I've said, if you miss the class or if you miss anything in the class, you can always go to my YouTube channel. If you are watching from YouTube now and you have not subscribed, just click on the YouTube channel. Just click on the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. So every class is recorded. So let's take note of that. And this is how the format of the class will look like. So I'm going to be teaching for 30 to 35 minutes, and I will give rooms for answers. For questions and answers. I will give room for questions and answers within 20 to 25 minutes as well. So if you have any question in your mind, just put it in the chat box. So when I finish teaching, I can always go back to the chat box and you can always have it there. So for as many of you that are in the Telegram group, so I have already sent the Anaconda where you need to download. So for this class, we are going to be making use of the Jupyter Notebook. So there are actually several platforms in which you can use to actually open your Python and work on Python, Spider, VS Code, and the likes. But for this class, we are just going to be making use of the Jupyter Notebook. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I will just give a brief run through. I believe that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? All right, thank you. So this is week 1, and week 1, we are just going to be looking at our Python environment, the setup, Jupyter Notebook, and we'll be looking at basic syntax, variables, data types, writing, and we are just going to write very simple scripts. Then week 2, we'll be looking at control flow and functions. So we'll be looking at conditionals, if, else, elif. Then for loops, we'll be looking at the for loop and the while loop. So week 3, we'll be looking at data handling with pandas. So we'll be looking at introduction to pandas. And week 4, we'll be looking at data visualization, doing some matplotlib library, making use of matplotlib library, the Seaborn, doing basic plots. And week 5 is going to be about revision. You can come in with your questions. So let's start with week 1 now. So it's just going to be, so this is how the Anaconda that I told you to download and install on your system. This is how it looks like. So like I said, you can also run Python on PyCharm. You can run Python on Jupyter Lab. You can run Python on Jupyter Notebook. You can run Python on Google Colab. Google Colab is not here. That one is online. You can run Python on Spider. Anything that you see here, you can run Python on it. PyScript and the likes. So now this is when you open the Python, the Jupyter Notebook, so you are going to see something like this. So you can see Jupyter Notebook. It's going to take you to your default browser. So for my own case, I am having my default browser as the Microsoft Edge. So your own default browser could be a Google Chrome and the likes. So now, because Python is a programming language on its own, so when I want to start Python, when I want to start teaching people on Python, the first thing I usually do is how to be a good Python programmer. So this is the platform. So how do you become a good Python programmer? Number one is you have to pay attention. You have to pay good attention to details. Number two is you have to comment codes well. Number three, you need what is called a problem-solving ability. Then number four is you need creativity. So the first one is you need to know how to pay good attention to details. Now, there are some things you need to know about Python. So there's something we call case sensitivity. I want to use it to explain paying good attention to details. So there is difference between when I say Python and I type Python. There is difference between both. So you can see that for this one, I started this with capital letter and ended with small letter. And for this one, all these ones were capital letter together. Then there's also a difference when I now write everything in small letters. So Python in the Jupyter Notebook is case sensitive. And what do I mean by case sensitive? It can differentiate between uppercase and a lowercase. So this one starts with an uppercase. So writing two different things, either they are in uppercase or lowercase, they are two quite different things. They are totally different. So you need to understand that Python is case sensitive. So for example, there's a word that we used to use, prints. When you use prints, it's different from prints. They are two quite different things. This prints might not work because it is in uppercase. So don't worry, when we get to all these things, you will understand. So note this very well, that Python is case sensitive. And I've explained case sensitive. That is, it can differentiate clearly when you are using an uppercase, which is a capital letter, and when you are using a lowercase, which is small letters in literary words. But if you want to use a programming language, because Python is a programming language. So if you want to use the right word, the right language, it is called uppercase and lowercase. So for example, if you go for an interview and some of the questions that they are going to ask you will be about Python, then obviously you can't be telling them that small letters and capital letters. No. If I'm in that interview panel, then I know that you are still a novice. You are still a novice. So first thing that I've given you in the curriculum that we are going to look at today is the data types in Python. So what are the data types in Python? The data types and the syntax. What are the data types in Python? Number one, we have the integer. Number two, we have the floats. I'm going to explain everything. Number three, we have the string. Then number four, we have the Boolean. So the integer, the float, the string, and the Boolean. So now what is integer? Now, in literary terms, integer is just a whole number. A whole number. So for example, we have whole number 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. So, but we don't call it whole number in Python. You know, I told you that Python is a programming language. You have your own language that you speak. I am communicating with you through English in it. I'm communicating with you through English, and that's why you can understand me. But you have your own native language. So Python also has its own native language because it's a programming language. So the language in which Python understands is integer and not whole number. And that's why we call it integer. So for floats, it is decimal. I believe that everybody knows decimal. So when I say that decimal is in form of 6.3, 9.46, 4.61, and the likes. Now, for string has to do with text data. It has to do with text data. And what are the text data that we have? So free Python coming, just those are the free the text data that we have. So what is Boolean? Boolean just has to do with true or false. It just has to do with true or false. So these are the data types that we have. And of course, we have dates. Well, everybody knows dates. We have dates in Python as well. But you know what a date is and how a date could look like. You know what date is and how dates could look like. So these are the general data types that we have in Python. Now, so there's something we call variable in Python. So what is a variable? A variable is what you assign to, so what you assign to your data type. So for example now, if I say that f equals to 5, my variable here is what? Is f. My variable is f because I have assigned 5 to what? To f. So my variable is f. So from this place now, I can say that, okay, print f. Let me run this first. So I said I have assigned f to be equals to 5. So let me now say print f for me. Why is it not working? I'm coming. Print. Let's use integer. You are welcome to the Python class. So let me run it now. So when you want to run, you run it here. It's supposed to show me down here what is happening to this kernel. Start the kernel. Okay. Now you can see what I did there. It's not, the kernel was not working properly previously before. So when I restarted the kernel, don't worry, you will understand. When I restarted the kernel, you will see that, you can see that this print, you can see that I changed color to green because print is a reserved word. Don't worry, I will explain what reserved word is when we get to that place. So let's go back to what I was saying. So I said f equals to 5. So let me run this. And I said print f. So you can see that because I have assigned 5 to be equals to f. So all I need to do is to just say print f. So, and that's how we are having 5. Here, this is a string. I said, print, you are welcome to the Python class. So let's print it now. So you can see it coming there. Now, when you look at here, when I wanted to put in a string, now this is what you should know. Now, I said something here about you need to learn how to comment on code very well. So what is happening here is that variable f was assigned to 5. No, 5 was assigned to variable f. So what I did here is to output the f. So here now, this is a string. Don't forget, when I came here, I said we have 5 different kind of data type, and I said text data is a string, is a what? A string. So anytime you want to refer to a string in Python, it has to be in a quotation mark. It has to be in a what? Quotation mark. So you can see that I open a quote and I close the quote. So here is to output my string. So, but I could also assign, I want to teach you a variable very well. So I could say that x equal to you are welcome. You are welcome to Python class. But this is not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because this is a string. and it has to come in form of a what? A quote. So I have to put it in form of a quote. So let me run this. So this is how you run, up here or there. Then I will now say print X. So what I did here was to assign my welcome message, assign my welcome message to X variable. So print X. So you can see you are welcome to Python class. Now I want to show you that Python in Jupyter Notebook is case sensitive. I want to show you. So when I now say capital S equal to, let me say capital X equal to data types in Python. So let me run this now. You will see that print X, print capital X. So you can see data types in Python. And let me now print the small x. You will see that it will give me another thing. So I'm trying to prove to you that, so you can see that the small x is giving me another one. I'm trying to prove to you that the uppercase in Python, in Jupyter Notebook, in Python, is different because I just assigned this small to your welcome to Python class, and I assigned the uppercase to data types in Python. So you can see that both are quite different. Hello? You can see that both are quite different. So that's because I want to prove to you that what I said here, that Python is case sensitive. So uppercase and lowercase. And the uppercase is different from the lowercase. Uppercase is absolutely different from the lowercase. Totally different from the lowercase. So let's now do, let's just do like a brief, a brief, since I believe that you understand what I mean by assigning now. So let's say that number 1 equals to 25, and we say number 2 equals to 12. So let's find differences between both. So to find so let me run it. So to find differences between both, that will be, let me call the variable as differences between the numbers. Now, when you notice, when I'm writing those strings, I didn't leave a space. I put underscore. I put an underscore there. So differences between numbers will now be equal to number 1 minus number 2. So let me run it now. So I have assigned the subtraction. This is subtraction to differences between numbers. So what I'm printing now will be differences between numbers. Print difference between numbers. And naturally, what is 25 minus 12 is going to give us what? 13. And that is it. So what if I want to do the sum of the numbers? So that will be number 1 plus number 1 plus number 2. So this is addition. So what I did here was to assign the addition of both to, and I call it sum numbers. Now let me teach you a trick. The trick is that when you are naming a variable, ensure that is a variable that people can understand. And when you want to comment, you can see that every of the comments that I'm doing, I'm putting an hash there. So output. So here, output. And I will now say print some numbers. So when you add 25 plus 12 together, it's going to give you 37 naturally. It's going to give you that. So what I just want to show you is that Python is case sensitive, and I want to demonstrate all the data types that we have. And if I say that, if I want to, okay, let me demonstrate float for you. So if I say that y equals to 7.8, and let me run this. So this is a float. I now say print y. So that is what? 7.8. So let me see. I have many questions before I go on. So that will determine how I'm going to continue. Can anaconda work on phone? No, you are using string, not integer, sir. This is looking like calculation. Oh, I don't understand that comment. Because I said I'm using string. I was using string now, and you are telling me that. Do you know better than me? How do I run the app on my laptop? I'm not able to open a notebook. I send the I send how you are going to download it. Anaconda is the easiest to download. We are here to see the yesterday's class video on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Go and search it. It's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube page. People have watched it already. And that's the free power. I name it as Power BI class week 1, 2026. So it's on YouTube. So if you check it well, it's there. And that's why I say you should subscribe to my channel. If you subscribe to my channel, it's going to, anytime I upload a video, it will notify you. YouTube is going to notify you. Every class is going to be on YouTube. I will not, and when I see a question, I won't answer it. Okay, instead of different bets, what if we type it fully? Will it work? Obviously, it's going to work. Instead of some numbers, what if we type? Yes, we can type. Okay, let me do what you said now. You can use any variable that you want. You can use any variable that you want. So I have copied what you said and summed the numbers. So let me say number 1 plus 2. You can use any variable that you want. It's not compulsory you use my own variable. You can name your variable as much as you will understand it. You can name your variable. So it's not compulsory that what I use. That's what variable is. You are just using it to represent so you can see. So variable is different from constant. You are just using it to represent. Why did you put quotation when using string? I have said it is a syntax. It is a must. Whenever you are using string, it has to be there. It is a must. Like you cannot even disprove it at all. Like you cannot even change it. Like whenever you want to represent a string, it has to be in a quotation mark. So take it like that. That is the way Python is. Anytime you want to use a string, it has to be in a quotation mark. So how do we use Boolean? Yes. So for Boolean, For Boolean is easy because Boolean, you can't use it in form like this. So there are some, when you have some CSV files, some data. So for example, you can have, when you are filling some form and they tell you that, okay, and you have some index in that form, like options like true or false. True. Maybe they asked a question that have you eaten? And they put options there, true or false, and you pick true. So the true gets recorded as Boolean. So it's always come in form of question. So is true or false? Those are the only two words that has to do with Boolean. So anytime you see a form that has been that the input is going to be on with true or false, then you know that it is what? It is Boolean. I was kicked out of the class. Can we get the class is recorded. The class is the class is recorded. It will be on YouTube. Yes, you can use another Python software apart from Anaconda, like the Python software 3.2 version. Yes, you can use that. It's not compulsory that you use what I have here. You're welcome. Yes. Now, when you look at difference between numbers, what you just type now, the difference between numbers, it is now, it is not a, when you, well, let me explain it very well. Now, you said it, when you have more than one string, it has to be in quotation. Now, because I didn't want this to be in a quotation, that was why I introduced an underscore for it. Some people will prefer to write it together, but okay, when you are not writing variables together like this, when you are writing variables together like this, it will not be easy to understand. Some people do that, though, but I don't do that. That's not the way I code. And that was not the way I taught myself as well. So that is why I introduce an underscore to it, difference between numbers. Now, this is a string, but I am making use of it as a variable, and it is just one string. But when you look at data type in Python, you will see that this is one string, two. So anytime you want to make use of more than one string, then it has to be in a quotation. I believe I've answered that question. Yeah, they are not in quotes because it is a variable. Yeah, their name assigned to Python. My YouTube channel, I've always dropped it. I will drop it again. Every time I drop my YouTube channel. And probably you are watching, I don't know, maybe you are watching from your phone. Maybe you are watching from your phone, I don't know. But I watch it here and they are of good quality. The bracket that you use when typing Python, did you type it or Python was the one that put it there? No, I have to type it. Now, when you are using some other platform, I mean to run Python, when you type, immediately you type print and you type just one, it will conclude the second one for you. It will complete it for you. There's some platform like that. But when you want to print, it has to be in a bracket like that. Which apps can we use, sir? I've already said it when I started. That the Anaconda is on, I sent how you can download it. And when you download it, install it on your system. And this is the interface you will see. when you install Anaconda. When you open it, this is the interface you are going to see. And what I'm using in this class is a Jupyter Notebook. So I just click on Launch the Jupyter Notebook and it will work. Why did you type index? No, index. I just use index as a column. Like when you are filling a table, when you are filling a form. I don't need to type. I'm using it to explain Boolean. It's nothing. So is underscore a delimiter? No. You can't use underscore in place of a, you can't use underscore in place of a quotation. No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't get it wrong. Now, yeah, I'm telling you that this is a variable. I'm making use of this as a variable. But when it comes to what I have here, this is not a variable because I'm assigning this to X, which is a variable. I'm assigning this string to X, which is a variable. So if you, I think I understand what you are trying to say. That can we do it like this? If that is what you are saying, of course you can do it like that, and it is going to work. But now, when you want to print it, this is how it will also come out. But I don't want underscore there. I want it to be clean. I want it to have data types in Python. I want it to be clean. And so that's why I will not use a quote for that, because I don't want it to be now be you are welcome to Python class. I will now be putting underscore. So that's not a good practice. It's not a good practice at all. So don't use underscore. I didn't teach you that one, and I will not encourage it. Yes, how does Python come into data analysis? All right, that is fine. So when I started, I told you that we are going to do, that's the week 3, when we are going to be handling pandas, CSV, and we are going to be having different visualizations by next week. But when you don't understand these basics, I can't just go directly and we start analyzing data. I think some of you just like to rush everything. And when we now get to the difficult, you now be like, I don't understand. Because this kind of question you're asking, yeah, they are all data analysis tools. What are the advantages of Jupyter Notebook over the other IDEs? Yeah, for Jupyter Notebook, I prefer it because that's what I've been using for a quite a long period of time. I prefer it because that's what I've been using for a long period of time. And one of the things I like it for is that it's easy to use, it's user-friendly, and it's good for beginners. But when you are using Spider, you might find it difficult to interact with the interface as a beginner. And that's what I mean that is user-friendly. But for Jupyter Notebook now, the way I'm teaching you, when you open a Jupyter Notebook on your own system, you can actually run it as well. But for Spider and some of those IDs, you will be seeing, you might not be able to, especially for Spider, the way I'm changing cells, you might not be able to do that. And when you run one line, it will come out on the right, and you might not understand that, oh, this is how I should just be running it little by little. So for me, Jupyter Notebook is kind of user-friendly. Of course, VS Code is also user-friendly. IDs is just talking about platforms. I didn't use IDE because that's a big grammar. It's just talking about platforms in which you can run Python. No, you can't use a phone. Must it be X? I've told you that. I've told you that it must not be X. You can use anything. Yes, very good. Very good explanation. It's just a container. that you are using to store values. Yes. So he said he's using underscore to detach the variable name so that it can become readable. Yes. You can't use space bar to differentiate words. Thank you for that. It depends. You can stick to any one of it. It depends. Yes, so I think I understand the level in which um you understand it based on the questions that I saw in the chat box, and I won't move further because of that. So when I started, I'll just do a quick recap of what we learned today. So when I started, I said how to be a good programmer, a good Python programmer. You have to pay attention to details, comment your code well, have what we call problem solving ability. So problem solving ability is very important. That is, you should be able to reason and be able to think about how can I solve this? What's the best way to solve this? And be creative about it as well. There are 1001 ways in which you can write a Python code. So it doesn't matter whether you write it the way I wrote it. There are 1001 ways to write it. But commenting code is very important. Very, very important. And one of the reasons you have to comment code, and it is because of good practice. So, for example, if you are working in an office, you are working in a place and you've written a Python code, they want it to be reproducible. What I mean by reproducible is that in case you are not around, maybe you are on leave, they should be able to use that code and they should be able to understand what you have written in the code. And so what if you don't comment the code properly, so you are giving problem to anyone that is checking your code and want to use your Python code. And one of the essence of Python is for automation. That is to make things faster. Now, there are some things that Excel will do. So I've worked in several places where they were using Excel for some things before, and I just wrote a Python code. So Python eliminates manual process. When it comes to Excel, Excel is too manual. But I wrote a Python code and I eliminated I wrote a Python code for the manual stuff that we've been doing before, and I eliminated all the manual process. And that's one of the usefulness of Python. Somebody was asking what was the connection. So that's one of the usefulness of Python. So before, they used to spend like 1 week doing it with Excel. But with Python code, all that was needed within 2 hours, it generated everything. And I was the one that wrote the Python code. So that's what Python can do for you. What is the meaning of commenting on code? Commenting on code is you are just explaining what your code does. That is what you type. Okay, I comment on this now. When I commented on this, I said assign my welcome message to X variable. That is what the comment does. So comment makes your code to be understandable and be reproducible as well. All right. So, and we look at different data types in Python: integer, float, string, boolean, and dates. And I talked about variable, talked about assigning a variable that it is just storing. Then we just did some little, we did some little calculations. And I said that Python is case sensitive. And I've tried to explain that. So I think that headline. Yeah, well, if you want to call it a headline, nobody asked question on the case sensitive part. So I'm so happy that everybody understood what I meant when I said Python is case sensitive. So with that, we come to the end of the week 1. So next week we'll move into how to handle control structures in Python. And it is the 3rd week that we will actually look at how we can do data analysis in Python. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.